Hey, everybody. No countdown today. We're going fast. It is a Monday, and we got a lot to talk about. I'm here, Dominic D'Angelo, Rumor and Innuendo. It's with Robert Karplis, WE Creative _ish. Robert also has Marty with him. Robert, how are you, man?
I preemptively grabbed the dog to try to prevent him from barking because the pool guy was outside.
Not the pool guy.
And I'm sitting here waiting. I'm like, we're ready to go. It's a Monday. I'm like, wait, where's Dom? What, Dom? In the wrong room.
In the wrong
The guy
room.
who sends the room link, the guy who controls what room we are in at any point in time,
Yes.
sent the wrong room link. This is why I say it all the time. Best producer in all of wrestling podcast history.
The greatest. The greatest.
Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you. Hey, congratulations on the BRCW. I watched a little bit of it so far. I'm excited to check it out. It's really cool setup, obviously, so far, I think. And Ben Bishop, ooh, he's cool.
Ben Bishop is, dude, that guy is very much as advertised.
Yes.
Very creative, very fun, massive human being. Like you stand next to him.
He had to move from the chandelier.
Yes, he dodged a chandelier. What was so funny was having this is a candid conversation, so I'm not, whatever, but was chatting with Cesar Bononi, who is a huge individual, and he was lamenting between EJ and Duca and Big Ben Bishop. He's like, I'm not used to feeling small.
Those guys are huge.
So I'm 6 feet tall. I look like how Dom must look in any other situation.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
Look, I know you're a towering 6'7", but the BRCW show was an absolute blast. Streamed live, which was awesome. It's available on YouTube. You can go back and watch the replay. But really fun show. I had a blast, and it was nice to watch a wrestling show this weekend that did not anger a whole lot of people.
Yeah,
and also crowned a women's champion people were actually excited about. I did tease it, Dom. Remember I teased it. We had a surprise appearance, and it was going to be someone that people were like, oh, they're curious who Lacey Lane, formerly Caden Carter in WWE, is going to face, and it was none other than Shayna Baszler.
My goodness. So that's definitely one you got to tune into. Yes, like Robert said, it's up on YouTube, so check it out. I wish my weekend went as well as yours, Robert. My brother got choked out by his podcast co-host, Ted DiBiase, and very, very disappointed.
Look, I rarely am jealous of the $1 Million Man, but that is an instance where the idea of choking out my podcast co-host, my goodness, DiBiase is living the dream. And some of the folks who are living the dream joining us here,
yes,
says, what's up?
What's up?
Wrestling Old Head says, good morning, aren't I surprised we got 2 Saturday night's main events without Jesse Ventura? Can you imagine what he would have said about Cody after his match with Drew? That is true. I did miss getting to see the body.
I understand, like, they want to help control and facilitate the narrative of things, but Jesse added that element to it that you don't usually get, and I think that was a fresh thing for them to do. And I think it's
you mean guy who's just saying things you're not supposed to say, like saying the quiet part's loud and the loud part's quiet.
A little bit, yeah. It's Saturday's main event. It's got that.
I would have loved him on commentary, if only for the neckbreaker spot with Punk and Jey Uso.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Sure enough, yeah, Saturday's main event went.
Gorilla, that's why this was the least liked clip in YouTube history. Cut the mic, Jesse.
Yes, so we did have a Saturday night's main event. Did it feel like a Saturday night's main event to you, Robert? How did you like the show overall?
So, full transparency, I did not get to watch Saturday night's main event live because I was at the BRCW. We do a family dinner the night before, is what we call it. All the talent and crew, everyone get together for a really nice high-end dinner. It's part of the fun of working the show. So I watched it on delay, but by the time I got home, I'm like, oh, maybe I can rewind. With Peacock, or the Cock, as the kids call it, who, according to Dan St. Germain, because he just sent this note, Peacock lost $217 million in the last 3 months.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, they are they are feeling the sting, and obviously having lost the streaming rights for the WWE pay-per-views,
Mm-hmm.
not a great time over at the Cock. But the show started at 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody knew this. So when people were tuning in at 8 and they're like, "Oh no, let me just go back and start from the beginning." You can't rewind while it's going on live,
Mm-hmm.
which is just insane.
That is nuts. That
When
is.
you watch Netflix and you watch Raw, you can go back,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of nice. If you miss the beginning, you can go start live, start wherever you are, and you're fine. This was really frustrating. You had to wait until the show was over, and then they had re-uploaded it for you to then go back and watch. And the irony of this is, as a paid Peacock subscriber, like, I've gladly given them my money.
Right.
I had to go about through fairly nefarious means to watch Saturday night's main event, because I was not going to stay up until 11, 12 o'clock at night to first watch Saturday night's main event. And knowing the next day I was going to be around a bunch of wrestlers and wrestling personalities, I wanted to understand what I got a delay on from your end and my end, what the hell they actually did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like Dre Owen says, a little late, but here, Dre, if this was Saturday night's main event, you would not have been able to start from the beginning of this week's episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Right.
Which you can't do because we're streaming live anyway. So I'm literally vocalizing a problem that we have.
No, you can do it on here. If we're streaming live. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't do it. Just stick with us live. You're here with us live. You're taking the ride with us. Saturday night's main event, Dom. Take it away.
Yes, right. They took it off with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre, that World Heavyweight or W Championship going down. It was quite the battle. And so it happened that Cody Rhodes retained, somewhat under nefarious means, but a little bit justified too. Robert, did you like the outcome of this? And what does it speak for Cody Rhodes' trajectory moving forward?
Yeah, I think that what they're doing is, number one, we don't know this was necessarily all the plan all along for Drew to be taking on Cody. We know that with the Fatu injury and some reshifting of the deck a little bit, we got another Drew Cody match. So the idea was they're not taking the title off of Cody just yet. So we needed to do a creative finish that doesn't bury Drew. And everyone originally thought there's going to be some kind of outside interference or something screwy. And they made the stipulation on SmackDown, if there's a disqualification or a count out, the title changes hands. So then the entire story of the match became every count out or every 10 count, you're like, oh, he barely makes it in just in time, or a lot of almost disqualification-y things, which I thought worked. I think that the idea of the finish of Cody hitting the DDT onto the title belt being a disqualifiable, that's a word, action furthers this idea of, is Cody turning to the dark side? Who attacked Jacob Fatu? Only to ultimately find out no. So much like communism, this was another red herring.
Well, yeah, I was okay with it. I thought it protected Drew in the proper fashion. And I do think it's okay to kind of tease, is Cody turning heel or is he not? They kind of did that a little bit with AEW too, if I remember correctly, like that tease. But yeah, I think it was a fine setup and a good opener, I thought, too, as well for the show. Up next, Robert, we had Tiffany Stratton. She was attacked by Jade Cargill on SmackDown, and she persevered through that pain to challenge Jade Cargill. But unfortunately, she did not retain the championship. It was Jade Cargill as your new WWE Women's Champion. What do you think of the shift and this pivot to Jade Cargill as the champ, Robert, and the match?
Is SmackDown still taped?
No, I don't think so.
Then maybe I wouldn't have put Jade Cargill as the world champion. This was... It got there.
Mm-hmm.
It was an odd decision because, so I guess the narrative was Tiffany Stratton was, quote, injured last week on SmackDown when Jade attacked her. And then there was a subsequent attack this week on SmackDown to further is Jade really going to be cleared? She's going to gut it out, but she's outmatched. And if you really didn't pick up on that thread of that story, it looked like Jade basically squashed her.
Yeah. Yeah. But Robert, I think I'm okay with it. Like, I'm totally fine with it because I think if you do, it gives a fresh paint of coat if you will, to the women's division. I think it gives Tiffany some time to maybe redevelop or change or shift a little bit, because I don't know, like, she's great, but I don't think she's perfect as a babyface, and I think there's some more you can do with that moving forward too. So I was all right with this. You can protect Jade in certain fashions by who you set her up with. So, and like, she looks great with the title. So
I mean, the only way this really makes a ton of sense is if Bianca is somehow ready to go sooner rather than later, because I think you may only be able to do one more Tiffany Jade match at this point.
Yeah,
They don't have tremendous chemistry in there. There was that debacle of a triple threat with Nia Jax, so you can't have Jade win just to lose it back to Tiffany, which means Tiffany's gonna have to find another dance partner.
right.
So Bianca being the one to fill that vacancy to go after Jade, probably the way this will ultimately go.
Do you ultimately think then, I guess you maybe answered the question, but do you ultimately think the SmackDown's women division is kind of in dire straits at the moment?
Well, money for nothing, but
Chicks for free?
yeah, thank you. Look, the tag division right now has heated up significantly, almost like they know what's going on in the other channel, and taking Alexa and Charlotte off the board as singles competitors is a tough situation that they can ultimately pivot from and let one or both of them go after Jade at some point in time. They lose the tag titles to the Kabuki Warriors through some sort of kabuki-ish nonsense. But the challenge you now run into is on SmackDown. Both of your women's singles champions are heels.
Right. True.
And you've got like Chelsea going after Julia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is odd. But yeah, we'll have to see how it all pans out. We saw what panned out next, and that was that triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship, as Dominic Mysterio defending that title against Rusev and Penta. Dominic was Dirty Dom. He ended up getting the win and retaining that championship. Robert, did you enjoy this match? Was it well booked? Was this okay for Penta and Rusev too? And
Loved
did
it.
Dom look good?
Look, I loved it. This was the kind of nonsense that you're going to do with Dominic Mysterio. That he's not a baby face. I was explaining to somebody yesterday. He's not a baby face. He's not a heel. He's Dominic Mysterio. Whether they cheer or they boo him, the key to him is keeping the antics the same. If he becomes a baby face, and it's like, instead of doing the nefarious stuff, he gives somebody a balloon and then they float off like Looney Tunes nonsense, it's not as good.
Yeah.
I love that they found that creative little moment where Rusev had Penta in the accolade and you didn't know what was going to happen. And ultimately, did they hear the bell ring like, oh my gosh, the title changed? Nope, it was Dom. It was fun. It's Bugs Bunny stuff to some degree, but enough of a sense that you kind of feel like he's still a heel. You still kind of want to see him get his comeuppance, but you have to be very careful of who that person is, because you don't want it to feel like a parent or a principal disciplining Bart Simpson, because then they become the heel. Like if you go that route with AJ Styles, kind of becomes the heel. If Dom being this cowardly, weaselly heel and ultimately gets hoisted by his own petard because he finds himself in there with like an Oba Femi, then it's kind of fun.
Yeah, right. And you know what, Robert, for the show, I think this kind of like changed up the pace a little bit for it too. I think it added something that it kind of needed in certain ways. And so it was a fun way to do it.
It was fun. It was entertaining, and fun and entertaining are, believe it or not, some of the key words you want when talking about a pro wrestling show.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about that main event, Robert. It was CM Punk, and it was, oh my God. Oh, Jey Uso. Jeez, going at it. I can't believe I just blanked on it automatically. But the match happened, and we have a new champion, CM Punk. That's what I thought was going to win, and I thought who should win. But what did you think, Robert? When it's all said and done?
Man, we talked about a lot of scenarios. The one that seemed sort of the least creatively fascinating was Punk just straight up winning, because now we're teeing up. Like, there was that post that Jey Uso put on Instagram of him looking dejected with the middle finger emoji, and it's like, y'all won. Like, this is what you all wanted. It's a little too AEW-ish because you're playing almost to the internet crowd. The internet crowd is the one that wants to take the shot to Jey Uso. There were a lot of people yeeting.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you watch I hate when there's that disconnect. And I hate when AEW does it, because if I'm watching the show and the guy is a babyface and he's getting cheered and the crowd's into him, okay, you're the babyface. But then when you're focusing on what a small section of the populace is talking about, and you're making it part of your character identity, it becomes confusing, because either the internet is canon or it's not canon.
Right.
And that was an issue with Jey Uso, and I think that's part of the problem with the Unreal show, where there was a lot of conversation about his breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And unless all of us are midwives, none of us should really be talking about someone's labored breathing. The match was like 2 parts of a match. The first part of the match was not very good. It felt like there was a disconnect with them. Jay felt off a step. You could tell there was a little bit of frustration going on with Punk. From what I understand, there's some frustration going on in the back while this match was going on. But then once it got cooking towards the end, the audience was taking the ride.
They were getting into it.
And it ended no Braun Breaker, no Bronson Reed, no LA Knight, no cheating, no chicanery. It was a straight up Punk got the win over Jey Uso, and now it's, are we going to get a Jey Uso heel turn? Is Jey Uso like a dejected Bret Hart? Is this going to be a more overt heel turn? Is it going to be subtle and a slow burn? WWE has booked themselves into a corner, because we do have War Games coming up. Mm-hmm. And unless they're going with like the MFTs versus Sami Zayn, which is a blood and guts level match, it's going to be interesting.
Well, I'm for the Punk winning the title, because like I said on Friday, I think that you're setting yourself up for some momentum building into WrestleMania, because I think you want somebody like a figurehead like Punk to have that world championship. So I think I'm okay with that. But what I am kind of cautious is kind of what you were just indicating, is how are they going to handle Jay here? Because I think there is some meat on the bone when it comes to Jay being like an aggressive, angry heel. But if he's like this glum, mopey heel that is, inside baseball kind of thing, you're not getting the most of it. I think that would be extremely underwhelming, and you're not creating a really captivating persona. I think a spin on Jay that already attracts him to the audience. So yeah, I hope they don't go in that route, but ultimately I'm intrigued to see what they do and who they set up Punk with for that world championship moving forward.
Well, the thing that they've done sort of wisely to buy some time is this John Cena 16-man tournament is now like a third thing going on. Mm-hmm. So whoever's going after CM Punk as his next challenger, it could be Braun Breaker, could be they're going right for the most logical match. It could be a somewhat lackluster decision where it's Punk versus like an LA Knight or something like that, because everyone's then still going to be talking about, hey, who's going to be winning this 16-man tournament, because they hyped it as people from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and from people who, much like Kramer, they don't even work here.
They don't even work here at all. Robert, yeah, let's talk about it. You think we never speculated tournament.
It's not. It's not. I know what you're going to ask. No, it's not. It's not Copeland. It's not Jericho.
Oh no, I'm not asking that at all.
Oh, no, that's where you're going with this.
No, not at all. No, I was just going to ask, do you like a tournament for Cena, like as his farewell thing?
So it's weird, because you've now turned like John Cena into a title.
Right. Yeah.
But the way that he laid it out, which was sort of the smartest way, it was, there are people that I have a long storied history with who may want one more bite at the apple. There are people of a different generation whom I've never wrestled before. And it's giving people the opportunity to step up in my last match the way that Kurt Angle gave me that opportunity to step up in my first match. That first ruthless aggression match is what put John Cena on the map for a little while. Let's use revisionist history. That whoever beats John Cena, that's now going to be part of their forever legacy. In the way that when we ask, hey, who retired Kurt Angle? And we're all like, obviously it was John Cena. Wait, no, it was Baron Corbin.
Yeah. No, Robert, I loved it. I think, I was speculating, just shove Obafemi in there if you position it in the right manner, and that should work. I think that would be cool. But I think this is the best way to hype it up, create some build to it, and then you have this.
I would not be just trying to shove Obafemi somewhere. He is massive, and that would be uncomfortable. And guys,
hey,
If you're worried about your Obafemi, can we talk to you about our friends at Blue Chew? Guys, enter the room, Obafemi first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet, it's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code RUMOR at checkout, pay $5 shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. And head on over to BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo.
Robert, real quick before we move on from the tournament, they showed a diverse group of folks all ready for the tournament, even though they're at random. Were you okay with that, kind of hinting at who might already be in the tournament?
Dom, Sebastian Howard says, my audio sounds like I'm recording under a bridge. Does my audio sound like I'm recording under a bridge?
Great.
No, I didn't mean to put this other comment up here about saying I haven't had sex in 3 years. Thanks.
You're going with plug in Blue Chew. No, you sound fine. You sound fine to me.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. Just making sure. Maybe he was talking about Sam Roberts. Maybe he was listening to Not Sam's show.
Maybe that's it. That could be it. Shout out.
But I think the highlight of Saturday night's main event, by far, is the completely unintentional and just innocent, innocuous picture of new world champion CM Punk standing next to world champion Cody Rhodes, standing next to women's champion Jade Cargill, standing next to, obviously there, watching as a fan, Ricky Saints. No undercurrent, no underlying message, just all elite wrestlers enjoying an elite evening of elite success.
And hey,
and then, yes, they also took a picture of Ethan Page and Blake Monet, who also are just coincidentally champions. Who knew that NXT airs on Tuesday and Wednesday?
Right. Dude, I saw it too, and I was like, yeah, it's there's definitely some intention there. But hey, I think it speaks to, what AEW needs a reality check with. These you guys, you had all these people, and you didn't make
this is what I've been banging the drum on for the longest. When they write the history books, the single biggest failing for any organization was TNA. If you list out the talent that TNA had under its roster and did nothing with, I'll just give you two names: CM Punk and Kazuchika Okada. Were there. Were on your roster, and you did nothing with them. And then you look with AEW, and it's like, I constantly go back to the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, that it's the monkey's paw. You give it to Homer, you see what happens. You give it to Flanders, you see what happens. Rusev, Aleister Black, Penta. I know Meltzer had issues with how Phoenix is being booked. Phoenix, I'm sure, is quite content with how he's being handled. And now all these AEW folks are world champions. There was absolutely a message being sent. If you come here, we know how to use you and use you properly. And you watch the folks that went the other way and how less than overly successful a lot of them have been.
Right. I mean, there's only a few exceptions to that rule too. I mean, like Ricochet is kind of flourishing,
Ricochet was one of the ones that came to my mind. I think Ricochet has been doing well. The Hurt Syndicate getting a chance to stay as the Hurt Syndicate obviously makes a lot of sense, but there's a lot of folks who never really got the opportunities in AEW that they thought they would have. Sebastian Howard says Swerve. So Swerve was an interesting one. He was someone that WWE was very, very high on. Hunter and Sean loved Swerve. The problem is that their whole stable got released entirely. And Hunter was very upset about Swerve going. They saw him as a potential next Shawn Michaels guy.
Yeah.
So when he got cut, they were like, wait, we didn't mean to get rid of all of Hit Row. We just wanted to get rid of part of Hit Row. And by the time they went to go correct that mistake, it was kind of too little too late.
Yeah. No, I thought that image told a lot. Told a lot for sure. We're going to get some storytelling potentially here on Raw tonight, Robert. They are in Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Sounds like a fun place. You see my cat, by the way?
Sure, that sounds like a great place. That sounds like, look, if you're not going to be at the Garden in New York City, you definitely want to be at Rancho Relaxo or Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which I feel like is just like a town invented for like a Jim Jarmusch movie.
That's what it does sound like.
So tune in for Raw Broken Flowers tonight. It's going to be great. Hell of a main event, or not main event, but match. I don't know if this is the main event or not. The World Tag Team title match, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus the Judgment Day. Great rematch. Probably too soon to put the titles back on Judgment Day.
I would think so.
But there is, there is the possibility of this just kind of stealing the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, what would you ultimately like to see come from this match here? Like, would you think would you want to see more dissensions in the ranks when it comes to Judgment Day, and what potentially could be for Finn moving forward, and anything, or where do you go with that?
I mean, yeah, it's tough right now because there's the possibility of Dominic Mysterio trying to interfere to help them, them being Judgment Day, and it goes awry. Or he does, in fact, help them, and now AJ's coming after him for his Intercontinental title. Or it's a way to definitively, we beat Judgment Day. They're now not focusing on the tag titles. There's also a more obvious answer, and this is the one that it took me a second to remember. I knew what the answer was. Not to cheat. We got, after what happened last week with that random Sheamus match with the Shillelagh.
Right. Oh,
we're
true.
absolutely going to see Sheamus in a Shillelagh.
Yes. Yes.
And then we're going to be stuck with a lot of Irish in one promo.
My goodness, yes. That's going to be a whole lot of Irish going on. We got another Judgment Day match, Robert, and another Judgment Day tag team match. It's Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. They're battling Nikki Bella and Stephanie McCool in tag action.
Well, Halloween may be over, but the vampire is still out as Nikki Bella continues to try to suck on the it's a weird place to put a pause, on the youthful energy of Stephanie McCool, who is talented and is over. So they're like, hey, let's give her Lady Chris Jericho and let's see what happens.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a heel turn. I don't know if it's happening tonight, but I think that's lined up, and we're going to get a Vacour Nikki Bella feud here more than not. We will get a follow-up to what happened with CM Punk on Saturday as the new champ. He's set to appear too. Robert, are you excited?
Oh, man, what a thrill this is going to be. We're going to get the Punk promo, and then so it'll be 4 minutes of his music. He comes out, he holds up the title, talks for a minute and a half, Jey Uso entrance, 7 minutes of yeeting.
Maybe 8.
And then, him talking about what happened and using the higher pitch voice for the drama, and then the lower pitch, and then the Uncle Phil how come he don't want me voice.
That is what
and yeah, then we all just stare at each other. Or because they are in a big town, we know that they are in a major city. And when you are in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, you got to bring the A game. Do you just hit Roman's music? And then people go, oh, man, we're getting Roman and Punk. But again, Survivor Series, War Games, you don't need to give away Roman and Punk.
You definitely don't. I'll lean more towards what you initially said, where it's like kind of like a placeholder match when it comes to Punk and maybe LA Knight or something.
Because you've also got Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed who are going to be sniffing around there and looking for success. But I just think if you put Braun Breaker in there with Punk right off the bat and Braun Breaker doesn't win, then it becomes sort of lesser than, and it's still a little soon to put the title on Braun Breaker.
I agree with you completely there. We also have Penta versus El Grande Americano.
Yes, Penta El Grande Americano. That's probably where we'll see some Dom related or other. Probably Rusev coming in for the save, and we get the unlikely Penta Rusev romance, which will be very, very nice. And then Bayley and Lyra versus the Kabuki Warriors. Maybe this is where Bayley is going to turn, but we are going to turn into pumpkins because it is 12:30.
Yes.
But we are Going to be back tomorrow as we are live every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including WW Creative _ish X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SD Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, ad-free shows, and podcast heat. Dom, thanks for showing up in the right room today. So on behalf of the best podcast co-host with the worst toque I've ever seen, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Duke, I called a beanie.
Shh.